And welcome to the Bulloch Sports Report. I'm Josh Aubrey. As we reflect back on the end of the school year in college and in our area high schools, we begin on the college scene where it was a difficult, frustrating season for the Georgia Southern baseball team, one of the worst in school history. But the good news is they were able to christen in their new baseball facility. We'll take a look at some of that, as well as on the high school front, we have some coaches leaving, some coaches returning, familiar names. Brandon Peterson stepping down as the head baseball coach after 17 years at Southeast Bulloch. He's been replaced by a familiar name for Bulloch County, coached at BA and over at Statesboro High, Chris Bishop taking over. He has over 300 career victories in his coaching experience. As for, we have plenty of signings from around our area, quite a few over at Statesboro High. We'll get to that in a moment. And as far as spring football, we already talked about the Georgia Southern Eagles, but on the high school front, we had Southeast Bulloch and Statesboro High. We checked in with how things were going there. Statesboro also held a scrimmage. We'll take you out and show you some highlights and catch up with Coach Matt Dobson, as well as Coach Jason Anthony over at Southeast Bulloch. All that and more coming up on the Bulloch Sports Report. And a reminder before we go to break, hopefully you'll never be in an accident, but if so, please give our friends at the Sullivan Law Firm a call, 912-489-8888, or online at thesullivanlawfirm.com. Northside Drive behind Remax Eagle Creek Realty.
Pojo's Country Store is proud to support all Bulloch County and surrounding area athletics. We've been fueling up for almost 20 years, with 3 locations in Statesboro and locations in Sylvania, Wadley, and Bagsley. Pojo's Country Stores is the real MVP. And a special shout out for our Bulloch Academy Gators. Go get them.
Well, as I mentioned at the top of the show, a frustrating season for Coach Rodney Hennon and the Georgia Southern baseball team, but there was some good news as they christened in their new baseball facility. Let's take you out, see how things went.
You know, just a source of pride for everyone associated with Eagle baseball, our fans and, you know, our alumni, and you know, this wouldn't be happening, and I said it earlier, if it weren't for the players that came before our current players now.
And to be able to have an area where we have our batting cages and our pitching tunnel, to be able to have the state-of-the-art technology down there, and to be able to get that work in no matter rain or shine, time of day, it does not matter. It's incredible.
To finally be able to be under one roof is a special thing, and to finally be able to see our new and improved home is just a surreal feeling. And I'm so glad to be a part of the first team to be in here.
And stay with us, high school action coming up next. Gerard Pre-Owned of Statesboro voted best place to buy a pre-owned vehicle 12 years running. 3 decades of experience in serving our community. Locally owned and operated, every vehicle undergoes rigorous multi-point inspections and thorough reconditioning. Flexible financing for all credit types, whether you're starting fresh or building credit, they've got you covered. Experience the Gerard difference today. 2330 Northside Drive West in Statesboro. At Pope Construction, we've been trusted to build Southeast Georgia for over 50 years. Family owned and operated, we take pride in delivering quality projects on time, every time. From schools to churches and government facilities, our team is committed to integrity, excellence, and building relationships in the communities we serve. Learn more at popeconstructionco.com. The Bulloch Sports Report is brought to you in part thanks to Morris Bank, proud sponsor of our Player of the Week segment. Well, we had plenty of signings going on around the county over this past month or so. Over at Statesboro High, quite a few student athletes deciding where they'll be attending college. Let's send you out and hear from some of them.
I got a call from coach, wide receiver coach at Albany State, and he was like, man, we want you out here, come get a visit and all that good stuff. And I was blessed to have the decision to go over there and got my tour, got my visit, so-and-so like that. And then so sat down with the head coach. We talked about the prices and stuff, and it was what I wanted. So then, I just made that connection with the coaches, and they kept talking to me, and we built a relationship. They built a relationship with my family, and it just worked out good, and God led me to the right decision.
I feel like Clayton State is going to be a great start for me, continuing my football career at the next level. I love what they had going the past couple years. They just started a football team. I love the campus. I love the coaches. I feel like I got a quick way to get on the field, showcase my talent, and just do what I do best.
What I liked about Albany Tech, I like how they kept in contact with me. That's why I really chose them. They checking up on me each and every day. Not too many coaches really do that, so that was a big role in me choosing them. About the campus, I really like the campus. It's really it's right by Albany State, so I get the experience, the D2 level, so I really mess with it. I like it a lot.
So I didn't really know what I wanted. I was really confused on what I was looking for until I went to Georgia Highlands, and it was really, from the coaches to the campus, it was the best field I had been on. I liked the coaches the most. They were the best people. They knew the most about baseball. It wasn't a decision.
I'm feeling so excited. I hate that me and my sister won't be cheering together, but cheering at two schools is definitely a very big deal and very impressive. So I'm just so proud of myself and of her. But being able to cheer at the collegiate level is just such an amazing opportunity, and I'm so thankful that I get to do it. I immediately fell in love with the campus when we went for a cheer clinic. So being there, it just feels like home. So I'm really excited.
My decision on Urshan was solely based off the relationship I had with the DB coach, Coach Hawk, and the opportunity to go in there and play early as a freshman. And on campus, it's a small town, but I'll be able to get my work done, no distractions, just go play ball.
Today I'm just feeling blessed and grateful for the opportunity that Coach Hines and my coaches from Statesboro High School have gave me. So my thoughts on being close to home, I'm very excited. I'm glad that I'll be able to have my supporters come and watch me every game. So yes, I'm looking forward to it.
I like Bryan College. It's a small town, but I like how they do things over there. They're a great team, great environment to be around, great players, great coaching.
Feeling good. I think I made the right decision. Andrew College, I think it's the place for me. It's a good campus. Went to talk to the coach. He's a great guy, and I think we're going to do great things. I'm feeling great. Wrestling it's at the bottom of the Statesboro sports. I'm glad that I'm here to help bring it back up to the top, and I still got some teammates coming through, and hopefully they'll get the job done too.
Well, on the high school front, spring football taking place. The Statesboro Blue Devils had a scrimmage with the Johnson Adams Smashers as well as Effingham County coming to town. We had a chance to talk with head coach Matt Dobson about how he felt the spring went.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that we wanted to get done with spring practice is just build a lot of depth. Offensively, especially, we got a lot of guys returning, lost some key guys, but a lot of guys returning. So we wanted to build depth at a lot of positions there. And then defensively, we're losing quite a bit more, and so wanted to find guys that we feel like can play for us on Friday nights, and then continue to build depth there as well. And then I think spring practice a lot is just building the culture of your football team, players earning the trust of one another, earning the trust of their coaches earning the trust of their players, and so just continuing to build the culture of our football team. And certainly feel like through the start of spring practice, we've done a really good job of building depth offensively. Pretty much every position group on the offensive side of the ball. We feel like this is going to be the deepest, that we've been as far as guys that we feel like can contribute on Friday nights. And so certainly got to keep those guys healthy, but feel really good about the depth that we've built offensively. And then defensively really had some guys step up, specifically some young guys that played on our freshman team last year, or on our JV team that have really just changed their bodies and stepped up and are going to be able to help us on Friday nights. The offensive side of the ball, it's just knowing the scheme. We got a lot of offensive linemen back, 3 that were full-time starters last year, and a couple others that played a lot of minutes for us throughout the year. And then got a few receivers back, and obviously our quarterback back. And so I think just we're not having a lot of bust in spring practice. The guys know their assignments, and certainly we've got a long ways to go in the technique and the physicality aspects. But from a mental standpoint, I feel like we're in a really good spot offensively, and then defensively. I think we got a lot of guys playing with really good effort, guys flying around. I think you just got on that side of the ball a lot of unknowns, and so guys are really trying to prove themselves and playing really hard there. Defensively, really, defensive line was one of the biggest positions. Had a really great senior class last year, a lot of experienced players, and so really lost pretty much our entire defensive line. And then in the secondary, lost a few key guys in the secondary. Defensive line wise, we've had a lot of sophomores and juniors step up, and then a couple seniors as well that didn't play on Friday nights as much last year. And then offensively, really the 2 biggest pieces that we lost was obviously Keon Childers, a running back who rushes for that many touchdowns and that many yards, and then Gage Newsome, being the leading receiver and having the most catches on our team. That was the 2 biggest pieces that we lost offensively, and certainly going to be hard guys to replace. Running back, we got quite a few guys that we feel like are going to be able to contribute. DJ Brooks, a rising junior that moved here in January. He's looks really good. He definitely looks the part at over 200 pounds and strong, physical guy. And then Jamon Chavers is a rising sophomore who played on our freshman team last year. Has looked really good at running back throughout the spring, and so certainly feel like those 2 guys, and then a couple other guys. Jaden Ruff is a guy who was injured most of the year last year that'll be a senior that we feel like can contribute a little bit in the backfield. And then Jaden Perkins played for us some last year in our single wing package, and he's looked good throughout spring. And so definitely more depth than we had there last year, getting some guys back from injuries and different things, and then just some young guys being a little bit older. But certainly Keon's going to be a hard one to replace, and hopefully between those number of guys they can do it. Matthew White, Mom got a job down here in January, and he moved here from Lakeside Evans, and he has just been phenomenal throughout spring practices. A big 195-pound outside receiver. Really a guy who we haven't had here in a couple of years that can really run and stretch the field vertically. And then Cello moving over from the defensive side of the ball, moving into more of a slot role, similar to what Gage was in last year. And then got a number of other guys that are contributing. Todd Easter played some late in the year last year as a freshman. He's a rising sophomore that's certainly going to be playing a lot of minutes for us. And then Trent Snelling's a senior who's really developed and gotten a lot faster, and he's helping out there. You got Gideon Fulcher is back with us, and he's going to be our backup quarterback, but think he's got a really good chance to play a lot of minutes for us at receiver. A big, long guy that can run a little bit too, and MJ Kimball is a guy that we moved from running back to receiver that's got tremendous athletic ability that's going to also help us in the slot, him and Cello. And so certainly feel like there's a number of guys at receiver that are going to help. Davis Harrison is going to play tight end for us, but certainly would be involved catching the football a lot. Last year he kind of split his time between receiver and tight end, and this year we're primarily focusing him just at tight end. But a guy that's played a lot of receiver and caught a lot of balls, it's a nice thing to have as a tight end. Can really get that tight end involved in the pass game as well.
Well, meanwhile, on the east side of the county, the Southeast Bulloch Yellow Jackets promoted their defensive coordinator, Jason Anthony, as the interim head coach. We had a chance to touch base with him and see how he felt spring went.
Now the spring, energy-wise, with the kids, the coaches, and the parents as well, has been through the roof, to be completely honest. Not to say it hasn't been in the past, but right now, they've been spot on every day. Every day we hit the field, those kids are about business, the coaches are about business. So to me, positivity and all of that right there, the continuation of that beyond spring when we get to the summer. Looking forward to it. As you know, I've been the defensive coordinator for 5 years here, so taking over as head coach now, I'm just bringing that same philosophy I would bring as the defensive coordinator. which is toughness, effort, commitment. We tell the kids all the time, respect, effort, commitment, those are our core principles. Those were my core principles as defensive coordinator, and continue to do that as a whole now as being the head coach. Yeah, there'll be some differences. I won't get into the details of that right now, but there'll be some differences. We have some kids right now who can play in space, so we're going to look to get those guys the ball in space and see what happens. The goal for the spring, first and foremost, to keep everybody healthy and to learn. We're putting in a new offense, also a new defense as well, special teams included in that. So as long as we're learning as we grow to the summer months, I'm absolutely fine with that. Just make sure we're learning. We lost 2 stellar running backs for graduation. Also, we lost a couple of linemen as well through graduation. But we're trying to plug and play right now, trying to find our guys, going 1, 2, and 3 deep. We have some guys returning, like Aiden Peterson, who's a guy that I mentioned before, one of those athletes that get the ball in space. Quarterback-wise, we lost a quarterback too. They moved to another school. We got another quarterback right now. He's a freshman. He's competing for the #1 spot along with another sophomore that we have too on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, we have some familiar faces and spots. Now we have to replace a cornerback that graduated in Jacalen Wells. We got a good guy, I think, who should be the #1 corner for us. It all depends on how he shakes out during the spring. We have 3 quarterbacks going for the #1 spot. There's JK, like I mentioned before. We also repping Aiden at quarterback some. We also have 2 sophomores who working at quarterback, and then we're also going to mix A.J. Jackson in there a little bit at quarterback to see what he does, and just let those guys compete for the #1 spot. We're looking to play the best guys on both sides of the ball, but spot play. If I can use Brent Horst as an example, Brent Horst for us is very, very important at linebacker, but in the same saying, he's really, really good at tight end. So if we need to rest Brent Horst, just use him as an example, we'll rest him on offense before we rest him on defense. Some can say the same thing about Aiden for sure. Like Aiden can play any side of the ball. Such teams included in that. So as coaches, what we have to do is be smart and understand which side of the ball is he more valuable, or any of our athletes, which side of the ball are those guys more valuable to give them rest. Now, they're going to play on both sides, but if we need to give those guys rest, we just need to know as coaches which side they need to be on.
And before we go, congratulations to a few of our state champions from Bulloch County. Over at Bulloch Academy, Adley Davis was able to take the state championship in the high jump with a school record 5'8" jump for her. Meanwhile, over in Portal, we had 2 state champions in the discus, where Josh Coleman won the state, and also Cannon Thompson was the state champion in the 800 meters. Meanwhile, over at Southeast Bulloch, it was Aiden Peterson winning the Class AAA triple jump. That'll wrap things up for now. We thank you for joining us. Hope to see you again soon.